IELTS Speaking book number 8 test 2 की हम बात करते हैं. Again, these are the sample questions. They just give you an idea of how things go in exam. Part number 1 जो कि general questions हैं newspapers और magazines के बारे में. सवाल नंबर 1, which magazines and newspapers do you read? Currently I don't read any magazines, and I used to read Newsweek. I used to read Men's Health. These two magazines I studied for many years, but these days I didn't have time. And newspapers, yes, I read newspaper. I need to read. I read two newspapers. Number one is Dawn, because there are some good writers in the Dawn, and their news and articles is mostly unbiased, and bias is at the least amount in that newspaper. This is why I try to read Dawn daily. Sawal number 2, what kinds of articles are you most interested in, and why? I'm not interested in the articles of politics. I'm interested in articles that are related to the society or the business development, and some social articles, because I am interested in doing business in future. So this is why I want to know how things are going in my country and in the world, and I want to equip myself with an adequate knowledge of the business in the world. Sawal number 3, have you ever read a newspaper or magazine in a foreign language? When and why? Yes, I've been reading magazines and newspapers in the foreign language, because in our national language, the magazines and newspapers are not having good quality of information and the language. So in a foreign language, especially in English, which is an international language, you have a variety of language, you have a variety of information, and there's a wide range of newspapers and magazines. So this is why I can get more information, I can learn more if I read in the foreign language. Sawal number 4, do you think reading a newspaper or magazine in a foreign language is a good way to learn the language? Why or why not? No, I don't go for it 100%, because newspapers and magazines are written by the people who are journalists, and they are not the language experts, and they have to use the terms according to the requirements of the articles and the topics. And so this is why I don't recommend people who want to improve their language to study newspapers or magazines. So they should go for the novels if they want to improve their language skills. पार्ट नंबर 2 जो कि क्यू कार्ड है, और क्यू कार्ड में 1 मिनट आपको सोचने के लिए दिया जाएगा. डिस्क्राइब अ रेस्टोरेंट दैट यू एंजॉयड गोइंग टू. आप एक ऐसे रेस्टोरेंट में बताएं जिसमें आपको जाना अच्छा लगा. वेयर द रेस्टोरेंट वॉज, आपको बताना होगा कि वो रेस्टोरेंट कहाँ था जिसमें आप गए. नंबर 2, वाई यू चोज दिस रेस्टोरेंट, आपने इस रेस्टोरेंट को क्यों चूज़ किया. और नंबर 3, व्हाट टाइप ऑफ फूड यू एट in this restaurant, and explain why you enjoyed eating in this restaurant. और आप बयान करें कि आपने इस रेस्टोरेंट में खाना खाना क्यों एंजॉय किया. आइए शुरू करते हैं. The other day after COVID-19 pandemic, when our classes started, we were planning a hangout, because all the class fellows were meeting after around a year. So this is why some of my best friends planned a lunch in a Chinese restaurant named Sichuan in Gulberg Mini Market. So I accepted this invitation, because we were definitely best friends, and this is why we wanted to have some time together and share how we spend our COVID-19 days and our future plans, and the changed conditions of the world, and everything. There is a lot to exchange among friends. So this is why I was also excited to go to the restaurant. And it was Friday afternoon when we were expected to meet. I found out the restaurant, and friends were already there, and there were three ladies and me with one of my male friends arrived there at around 3 p.m. So this restaurant wasn't chosen by us because I always feared, eating a foreign food. I didn't know the manners, and it was my first time. So it was chosen by the ladies, and I just accepted to went into this restaurant to go into this restaurant because it was a kind of adventure and a kind of excitement was related to that a new restaurant. So this is why I accepted it. This restaurant was Chinese restaurant's name was Sichuan, and it was only offering Chinese food. First, I was confused about ordering any kind of dish because I didn't know the Chinese dishes before, and I only requested my friends that they could order anything that could not be, eaten with chopsticks because I feared chopsticks, and so they ordered some of the Chinese items, and these were organic. And after around 30 minutes, the food arrived. During that, we enjoyed talking to one another, and this dishes were the first time before me, and I tasted that, and it was really, really amazing taste of these dishes because I had never eaten anything like that. And in that restaurant, I became a fan of the Chinese food. So I enjoyed it. I ate it to my fill, and number two, the company of uh, three beautiful ladies, and uh, the romantic music and the dim lights and all the atmosphere that the restaurant has created was an addition to the taste of the food. It made it more tasty, and it made it more enjoyable, and it made it more memorable, and it is still alive in my heart. And this adventure of eating in a Chinese restaurant for the first time in my life would always remain alive, and I would again love to go with my friends in such restaurants and eat some Chinese food as well. Part number three, discussion topics, restaurant. Why do you think people go to restaurants when they want to celebrate something? जब लोग कुछ celebrate करना चाहते हैं तो वो restaurants में क्यों जाते हैं? So people go to restaurants when they want to celebrate something because it saves their time. Number two, uh, people don't have other activities. They are not involved in other activities like they can't go to some gym to celebrate something. They can't go to some park to celebrate something because it requires time and some kind of involvement, uh, and a history of activity. But a restaurant is something, a food is something that everybody has a natural attachment to. So I think this is the reason behind. Number two, restaurants have an atmosphere of celebration already. They can, for a short amount of money, they can prepare a room. They can decorate a room for whatever kind of celebration you are wishing to have there. सवाल नंबर दो, which are more popular country fast food restaurants और ट्रेडिशनल रेस्टोरेंट्स, यानी आपके मुल्क में कौन से ज़्यादा पॉपुलर हैं, फास्ट फूड रेस्टोरेंट्स या ट्रेडिशनल? सो इन माय कंट्री uh, traditional restaurants are more popular. Fast food restaurants are popular only in big cities like Lahore, Islamabad, Karachi, and neighboring cities. But traditional restaurants are popular all over the country, and especially fast food is popular among the teenagers and young people, while traditional food is popular among all age groups. Why do you think that is? It is because it is quick to have fast food. Number two, it is tasty. Number three, it is new in our culture and new in our country. And number four is it is something imported, and people, are obsessed with imported things, imported brands, and imported. So people go for this because something imported is attached to that. It is from foreign. So we appreciate foreigners in all uh, aspects of our life. So it gives you a feeling of being better than others when you eat something that is eaten in the Western countries or European countries. So these 3 to 4 feelings are attached to having fast food. Number four, some people say that food in an expensive restaurant is always better than food in a cheap restaurant. Would you agree? Yes, from one point of view, it is quite right because an expensive restaurant tries to uh, give you hygienic food. Number two, all that the way it is presented, it is quite safe for your health. It is not harmless, and the parts or utensils or dishes, everything is cleaned and germ free. So and plus they prepare the food with care, and all these things add to the quality of the food. While in cheap restaurants, food is prepared carelessly, it is not hygienic, and the dishes in which it is presented are full of germs and bacteria. So, this is why I think expensive restaurants are better. Part number three, reflective questions. Producing food. Do you think there will be a greater choice of food available in shops in the future, or will there be less choice? क्या आपके ख्याल में फूड की ज़्यादा वैरायटी होगी फ्यूचर में या लेस चॉइस होगी? I think there will be a greater choice of food available in the shops, because as we compare it from the past years, it there were only seasonal foods available in the market or in the shops. It was hard to preserve them, and the ways of communication or transportation were not very exotic or not very perfect and not very fast. But now we can import food items from abroad, and even in our own country, there are the farms where the food is preserved the whole year, and we can eat the same food throughout the year. And even some imported food items are also available. So there is a huge variety of choice available in the shops right now and in future as well. सवाल नंबर 2, what effects has modern technology had on the way food is produced? तो जिस तरह से पैदावार की जाती है खुराक की, मॉडर्न टेक्नोलॉजी ने किस तरह उसको मुतासर किया है? The way food is produced, modern technology has affected it a lot because modern technology, through modern technology, we can produce better food. We can produce food uh, in a huge quantity, and number three, we can produce it very fast. So these three things are the ways in which modern technology has affected food producing process. Sawal number 3. How important is it for a country to be able to grow all the food it needs without importing any from other countries? It is very, very, very important for a country to grow its own food because food is the basic need of man, of any breathing creature. So food is where most expenses go for a common man. So if a country is unable to produce its own food, a country has to spend a lot to bring food from other countries, and it creates an inflation in the market. And poor people are affected directly by this inflation, and this creates a disinterest in it creates a dissatisfaction with the performance of the government, and most importantly, people become people lack food because they cannot afford to have better food. So this is their quality of food becomes poorer, and eventually the pandemics and the other sickness and illness has a rise in a country. So a country, all these the food is attached to all over performance of the country. All the departments are get affected when people are not given proper food. Food comes first, so it is very important for a country to be able to grow all the food it needs. इस वीडियो को देखने के लिए शुक्रिया। अगर आपने सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया तो इस चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर लें, इसको लाइक भी करें और शेयर करें आइल्स वाले लोगों के साथ भी, और उनके अलावा जो लोग अपनी कॉन्वर्सेशन स्किल्स को इम्प्रूव करना चाह रहे हैं उनके साथ भी शेयर करें। और ये बिल्कुल फ्री है, सब्सक्राइब करना, लाइक करना और शेयर करना। थैंक यू।